All right. So, I'm going to fill in what I do there. Step 1, I rearrange.
Good morning, staff and students. Here are announcements.
You guys can watch this and listen to that at the same time.
So language challenge applications are here. Please see Ms. McKenzie for more information. They are due November the 3rd. With the owner of a blue VW Jetta, license number 087 PSD, please see Ms. Hampton Accounting Office, room 101G. Attention, please remember students with spare blocks must sign in at the library for attendance. There is a mandatory IB exam registration meeting for all IB certificates and IB students on October the 19th, this Thursday at lunch in the library conference room. Bring your lunch and a pen. New overdue lists are posted in the library. Please return your overdue books now. Junior girls volleyball hosts games Wednesday at 3:30. Come out and support our Junior Panthers. Abbey Senior Green Team will be selling pizza in the rotunda at lunch tomorrow. That's Wednesday, October the 18th. $2 per slice or $10 for half a pizza. All proceeds will go towards funding Green Team's initiatives throughout the year. Any grade 12s interested in applying for the Dogwood District Scholarship, please come to a meeting in the library conference room on Wednesday the 18th at lunch. Intramural kickball games start today, Tuesday, October the 17th. Come out to cheer on your favorite team at the pit, and you could win a door prize. Reminder, grad fight night is Thursday, October the 26th from 5 to 11:30. The cost
I heard grad fight night.
on the grad info board outside R200. Deadline for
That's what it hurt.
The 23rd.
My old rugby team in Chilliwack has a fight night, and you can sign up to fight. We make like $13,000. People come and watch each other, clumsy oafs beat each other up.
Rules can be picked up in the library. X-Block sign-up sheets outside the office at lunch today. Emily Isaac to the office at lunch. The following students, please report to Pat, room A209 today. Daniel Almos, Haley Cragen, Skylar Ronquist, Jeremy Wayne, Josh Reddick Suderman, Daljot Olak, Riley Manofer, Jaden Murphy, Joanna Dent, Trevor Millian, Gurkirat Mangat, Gurveer Sidhu, Olivia Tatum, Pearson Sproul, Mitchell Williams, Austin Acorn, Harmony Hickson, Evan Roy, Aaron Fernandez, Juan Contrast, Kingston Tallman, Gavin Qatar, Jeremy Frank, Ranveer Gill, Marsimran Gill, and Ranveer Singh. At this time, we'll grade 11. Please come down to the
Eddie, you need your pictures.
If you were away on the original photo day. If you ordered photos and need a retake, please bring your photo package down to the camera. If you would like to order from your original photo on your ID card, please bring your ID card and your order form down to the camera in the library now. That's all grade 11. Thank you. Those are your morning announcements. Back to learning.
Okay, so this is what you do. You rearrange so you have this. The quadratic term, which is the squared term. The linear term, which is not squared, equals whatever's left over. Okay? Then you complete the square. You make this side. This is the square you are completing. That's why it's called complete the square. And you complete the square by taking B, cutting it in half, and squaring it. Okay? Everybody good? All right. Now, we're going to carry on from there logically. All right? If you can do this, you can do what we're going to do today, because it is just logic. It's not math. It's just common sense. Look at A and tell me what is different about A than the previous 18 of these that we did. Did we do 18? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I lied. We only did 5. What's different about this one than the previous 5? Burke. The quadratic has a coefficient. Burke, I am getting you a gummy bear for using 2 math words in that sentence. You did not say the x squared has a big number, which is what I usually hear. So here you go. 3, because 2 gummy bears stuck together, it's all 1 gummy bear. Well done, Burke. The quadratic term has a coefficient. Woo! If I was a rapper, I'd already have somebody had already dropped a beat and I'd be going. I read an article today on the internet about how Google is hoping the Chinese rapper Mi Jing can get Google into China. That's their big plan. No. The Facebook isn't officially in China either unless you get a VPN. My buddy has lived there for 7 years. He hasn't been able to Facebook till now. All right. So, Burke, since that quadratic term has a coefficient, we only know what to do when the quadratic term doesn't have a coefficient. So how do we get rid of that coefficient? The same way we've gotten rid of every coefficient that we don't like, by doing the very first thing that we're supposed to do whenever we're faced with a math polynomial, which is... No, I can't take the gummy bears back, Burke. You don't lie down and cry. What do? You GCF it. What do you get there? You divide the whole thing by 2, and what do you get? X squared plus 4x equals 3. Now,
but don't you have to have the 2 outside the... Don't you have to make brackets?
No, because I'm not factoring.
Oh.
Okay, I'm simplifying. Now, does this look like our second step? So what would the next thing I would do be? I would complete the square, yes? That square is over here, right? How do I complete the square? I take the b term, which is, divide it by 2, which is 2, and square it, which is 4. So I have x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 3, what? Plus 4, because I added 4 to this side, so I'm adding 4 to this side. Cool? Everybody Gouda? Gouda for grapes? Yes.
Wait, why did we add 4 again?
Because I added 4 here when I completed the square. It won't be equal if I don't add 4 to this side. Yeah? You good? Sophie.
Why did you have 4 over 2? Like, I get that you divided 8 by 2 about 4, but you left 4 over 2 and then just went to 4.
Okay, so I factored it out because x plus 4x equals 3 is the exact same as 2x plus 8x equals 6, right? So this is the simplified version. Then this is completing the square. I take the b term, divide it by 2, and square it. Right? It's what we were doing yesterday. Okay, now what? We factor this side. Yes, what is that? How do I factor that?
X squared plus 4x.
X plus 2 squared equals what? 7. Excellent. Now what? Square root both sides. X plus 2 equals what? This is where the trick comes in. Plus or minus root 7. Then what? X equals negative 2 plus or minus root 7. Now, this is what we call an exact answer. Just like back in our radical unit, where we left the radical sign in, yes? But that is really hard to put on a graph, isn't it? If I asked you, don't write this down. If I asked you to put on this graph of x and y, to put a dot at at -2 plus root 7, and another dot at -2 minus root 7, it would be very difficult to do, wouldn't it? Right? What would you have to do with these pieces of information before you could put dots on the graph? Where would you have to go? You would go to your calculator and you would punch in -2 plus the square root of 7, which is what? What is -2 plus the square root of 7? .6 blah 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 blah, yes? 0.6 blah. And what is what is -2 minus root 7? -4.6 blah blah blah, yes? Now I could put a dot. There's 1. So the first dot has to be around 0.6. -1, -2, -3, -4, -5, and the other dot would be right there. Right? And since it has a squared term, does it make a line or does it make the curve? It makes the curve. And the x's are where they cross. Everybody cool? So, algebra gives us an exact answer, and our calculator gives us an approximate answer, which would be -2 plus root 7 and -2 minus root 7. Is everybody cool with those? Max?
Can you explain how, do you know the second line down? So the x squared plus 4x plus 4 equals 3 plus 4.
Sorry for the interruption. At this time, we'll grade 12, so that need picture teachers, please come down to the library. That's grade 12.
Any grade 12s?
Please come down to the library.
Lovely. Max, you want to know this?
I just want to know how you got x plus 2 squared.
Right here?
Yes.
Okay. You factor that. So I need numbers that multiply to 4 and add to 4.
Oh, okay.
Right? Now the shortcut is you look and you see that squared and that squared. So you know it's a perfect square trinomial. So this middle has to be the square root of that one.
Yep.
Everybody cool? Everybody good? All right. Look at B, which I'm going to work in green. What's different? Well, you can. What does it give you? A fraction, which makes you all pee your pants a little. But does it need to? No. So I'm going to divide everything by 3, and what am I going to get? X squared minus what? 5x. Then I'm going to leave a space, because I know I'm going to complete that square. Has to equal what? 2/3, yes? How do I complete that square? Divide 5 by 2, which is 5 over 2. Square it, which is? What's 5 squared? What's 2 squared? So it's 25 over 4. What do I add to this side now? 25 over 4. Now, if you like decimals, you're welcome to go to decimals. But I don't recommend it. Because as you can see, we want exact answers, don't we? So, what does this factor out to? X, since that's negative, it must be minus. What do I do with 25 over 4? What did I do with 4? To get to 2. Square root. So what do I do with 25 over 4? Square root. equals, and then I add this. A great many of you don't like adding fractions, but it's just twelfths, right? 75 and 8, 83 twelfths. Everybody good? Everybody understands the grade 5 math I did there?
Yeah.
I'm just allowed to write that? Now, in math, do looks matter? Or does math matter? Math matters. So here, my next step when I have squared equals that was the square root both sides, yes? So even though this looks different, what's my next step? Square root both sides. X minus 5 halves equals plus or minus the square root of 83 over 12. Then what? What did I do here? I moved the 2, so what do I do here? Move the 5 halves. Becomes positive plus or minus the root of 83 twelfths. Is that an exact or an approximate answer? Exact. Very difficult to put on a graph. How would we put it on a graph? We would use our calculators. 2.5 plus or minus the square root of 7 point something. 6 point something. Sorry, 6 point something. So negative 2.5 plus the square root of about 2.5, or plus 2.5 is going to be either around 0 or around 5. All that in brains too. Everybody good? Yeah, yeah? Yeah, yeah. Or if we were doing a Volkswagen commercial, yeah, yeah, yeah. What's different? What goes in this box here? Fill it in using your words. What do you have to do when the quadratic term has a coefficient? I'll help you out. If it is ax squared instead of x squared. So ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. What are you going to do with that? You're going to divide everything by a, and then you're going to follow the original steps, aren't you? Divide everything by a to get x squared plus b over ax plus c over a equals 0, and then you're going to follow original steps. Right? Is everybody good? Is everybody good? Okay. Practice. Do those 6. They're real easy ones. Why? Why are those 6 easy? They have a coefficient of 1, so you follow your original steps, whatever you wrote down, however you remember how to do it. Go. Luke, is your hand up or are you stretching? Okay. Actually, that's not the way I want to do this. I'm going to write the answers beside each one here. You can check your work and then ask me, and then I'll go over any in the blank space down here that need going over. Okay? Please make sure you actually try them. Don't just copy down the answers. Number 2 is x equals 5 halves plus or minus the square root of 37 fourths. If you need me to go over it, just tell me, and I'll do number 2. Did you get number 1? Okay, so the first person that needs something is you need number 2, yeah? So I'm going to go ahead and start working number 2. Everybody cool? Yes.
In number 1, minus 4.
4, it's positive 4. Pretty sure. If more than one of you got negative, then I have no problem believing you. I'm working very fast. All right, so first person wanted to see number 2. So x squared minus 5x equals 3. Now I'm going to leave a space there, right? Because I got to put, so it's half of that, 5 halves squared, right? So plus 25 over 4. So I add 25 over 4 to both sides. Cool? Okay. So that's going to be x minus 5 halves squared equals, now I got a couple of options here. This is 6 1/4, right? So plus 3, it's going to be 9 1/4, right? Okay. Square root both sides. X minus 5 halves equals plus or minus the square root of 9 1/4, right? X equals, bring the 5 halves over, 5 halves plus or minus the square root of 9 1/4. Now the way I did it, I left it as a fraction. 37 fourths is 9 1/4. Cool? I just like working in fractions because when I learned math, we did everything in fractions. So we weren't allowed to use our calculators, right? So I leave stuff in fractions, even more so than I leave it in mixed numerals, which is why I did this one in mixed numerals, because I thought maybe that might help. If I was going to do this in fractions, it would have been 2.5 plus or minus 9, the root of 9.25. And I could still do it that way. Does anybody need to see 3, 4, 5, or 6? I'd rather not have to do them all because they are all following the same concept, yes? So please try them all. I'm going to take a moment whilst you do that. Yoon, did you want to see your test? You did very well on it. You have a moment now. Have a quick look. Sophie, did you want to see your test? Yes, I'm getting to you as well. I have the pile right here. Josh, do you want to see yours? You're good. Dai Chi, do you want to see yours? You're good? And Kiera. Don't leave with them. If you do want to go over it, because we went over it in class while you were writing it, just stay for like 2 minutes at lunch, and we'll talk about it. Okay, Kiara? Okay, Yoon.
Why are you asking what's wrong?
Because it's wrong, Yoon. Yes, because 6x plus 12 factors again. It's my favorite question. Why did I get this wrong? Because it's wrong. Who's on my tie? Popeye, not Bugs Bunny. It's okay, buddy. It's a little tiny mistake. You only got 95% instead of 100. I am what I am, and that's all that I am. What? I think yours wasn't in there? Well, good thing you said that then. Nobody's must be.
Because I went on it and it said I had 58% in this class, and I was
Well,
a little
that
worried.
probably isn't right.
Okay, thank you.
All right. 3. So, 3. X squared minus 6x. I'm going to leave a space. Equals -1. Cool so far. What's half of 6? What's half of 6? Squared. Plus 9. Plus 9. Yes? X minus 3 squared equals 8. Right? Right? Okay. Square root both sides. X minus 3 equals plus or minus root 8. Yeah? X equals 3 plus or minus root 8. Yeah? Would we leave root 8 as root 8? That's 4 times 2, right? 3 plus or minus 2 root 2. Now, guys, please listen to me. Let's pretend you left a test right there at that point. Do I deduct marks in our unit on completing the square? Do you think? Or do I circle it and say, could you simplify this more?
Yeah.
Which one do I do? The second one, right? Because you guys should have figured this out by now. How many times have I shown you something like this? What's our final end game, do you think, with all of these? Graphs. On a graph, does it matter when you are getting this answer for your x roots? If you punch that into your calculator or that into your calculator, aren't you going to get the same answers? Picking up what I'm putting down? The only reason I wrote that key, Jazz Carrot, as 2 root 2 is because I automatically simplify that stuff. Because I've been practicing it for so long, I don't even see root 8. I see 2 root 2. Right? And that's not a condemnation of you guys. That's just something I do automatically. Right? So by all means, if you left it there, you'd be fine. Okay? Because you could punch that into your calculator. The square root of 8 is almost 3, right? So the roots on the graph would be 3 plus 3, somewhere around 6, and 3 minus 3, somewhere around 0. So it would look like that. Cool? Is everybody okay with these ones? Because I want to give you some time to practice the newer ones too. Is everyone okay? All right, if you didn't get them done, go back and have a look at them, yeah? I do hope that whatever you're watching is thoroughly interesting. Because, of course, I am seeing your phone in my class. I don't care whose it is. I am seeing a phone in my class. And it is causing me to not teach. I don't know how much clearer I can make it to you people. I know that you have addictions. I'm aware of that. But work on it. Consider this class detox. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes? What's the problem with all of them? They've all got a coefficient. The first two work nicely. 3, 4, 5, and 6 are not as pretty. Right? So, in this section, I want you to do two things. I want you, 1, to get me the exact answer. And 2, I want you to use your calculator for an approximate answer. So you're going to do all the work, and then you're going to punch that final thing into your calculator. If you don't understand what I mean, follow along with this first one, which I will do in red. 2x squared plus 12x, leave a space, equals 6. That's ugly. Why? Leading coefficient. So I divide everything by 2. X squared plus 6x equals 3. Half of 6 is 3. 3 squared is 9. Add 9 to both sides. X plus 3 squared equals 12. Square root both sides. X plus 3 equals plus or minus root 12. X equals negative 3 plus or minus root 12. Everybody should be able to get to there fairly quickly. Probably not as quickly as I did, especially if you were writing it down, because a great many of you tend to write stuff down and follow me along, even though you know what you're doing in your head. Everybody can get to there, yes, with that nice, easy first one? Again, I don't care if you're not as fast as me, that's okay. I'm not as fast at playing Call of Duty 12 as you are. I'm not as fast as getting something onto Snapchat as you are. Why? Because I don't practice it every millisecond of every day like you guys do. That is the first part, what I wanted in red. Then I want an approximate answer. How do you punch that into your calculator? You have to punch in two things. Negative 3 plus the square root of 12. Now in my head, I know the square root of 12 is about 3.5. Yes? Because the square root of 9 is 3, the square root of 16 is 4. It's about halfway between, so it's going to be about 3.5, right? So my answer is going to be about negative 3 plus 3.5, which is going to be about 1/2, right? So when I punch that into my calculator, what do I get? 0.46, which is about a half, isn't it? Then I'm going to punch in negative 3 minus root 12, which is going to be negative 3 minus 3.5, which is going to be around negative 6.5. What is it really? It'll be negative 6.46. Does everybody understand what I want done in these 6? Yes? Okay. I'm going to again put up the answers. Then I'm going to shut up. Then I'm going to give you one more page of this to do. And I'm going to add one more wrinkle to it. Okay? Go. Yo. Can I what? Yeah, sure. I'm just going to write the right answer first. Okay? Now, Cole, you wanted 2, yes? You got it or you want to see it? You got it now? Okay. So there are those. Those are just the exact answers. The approximate answers I will add to it right now. And I'm going to write all of them in purple. One sec. Yes. Number 3. Yes. Number 3 I did in blue. Okay with the first step, yeah? Divide by 5. Still okay? Half and square plus 1, yeah? X minus 1 squared. Plus 1 is 5/5, yeah? So that's going to equal 3/5. Still cool? Okay, square root both sides. Plus or minus the square root of 3/5. Still cool? 1 plus or minus root 3/5. Cool to there? Now, are you okay with finding these two? That you can do on your calculator? Okay. 4, which I did in green. Four x squared plus 6x equals 5. X squared plus. Now, you okay there? Right? Good? Okay. Half of that is 3/4, right? Right? Okay, so 3/4. 3/4 squared is 9/16, right? So this side is plus 9/16. Still good? Okay, so that is x plus 3/4 squared, good, equals 5/4 is 20/16, yes? So 29/16, still good? Square root both sides.
Sorry for the interruption. Last call for any students that need a picture retake. That's last call for any students that have not come down to get their picture retaken. Thank you.
Yeah? Still good? Okay, now you could stop there. I went a little bit further because this right here is the square root of 29 over the square root of 16, yes? So that is really the square root of 29 over 4, yes? So this becomes negative 3/4 plus or minus the square root of 29 over 4. Since they're the same denominator, negative 3 plus or minus root 29 over 4. Good? And then you know how to do that part, yeah? Okay. So where did you go wrong? Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Is everybody good? Okay. I'll come back to these in a second, but some people are done, so I want to go on to I just want to show you the last thing I want you to do today, and then I'm going to shut up. On this last page, page 79, I want an exact answer, just like we've been doing. I want an approximate answer, just like we've been doing. And then I want you to sketch a graph. I haven't taught you that. Some of you will know how. I haven't taught you. You have seen a few examples. I want to see if you can use your noodle to figure out what these graphs will look like. Okay? I haven't taught you how to use a graphing calculator, and I haven't taught you any tricks to this. I want to see if you can puzzle out what each of these graphs will look like. It won't be exact, right? But I want to see what I get when I ask you guys to bring all of your math knowledge to the party. See what I mean? Everybody cool? This is page 79, and that's your work for tonight. Before you're done today, like any moment now, I'm going to do number 1 to show you exactly what I am looking for here. Yes? Okay. I'm going to go back a page to show the key that we were just working on. Remember, I'm going to highlight in yellow the exact answers. And I'm going to highlight in blue the approximate answers. Son of a motherless goat. Dude, it's from a movie. We've been over this. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. And you will notice that number 5 only gives you exact answers. Everybody good? Okay, I'm going to wait about 5 minutes, and then I'm going to do number 1 on page 79. Okay? If you're ready for it, you want to see it now, you're welcome to come up. But my leg is sore. I don't want to walk around. It's all wrapped up, and I have a crappy tensor bandage on it. So every time I walk, it slides down my leg. Then I got to go to the bathroom and rewrap it, and it's a pain. Both literally and figuratively. Because my leg hurts, and it's a pain in the butt to rewrap it. Well, it's a pain in the leg. Yuck, 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 yuck. Waka, waka, waka. Do you know who that is, Sarav? Waka, waka, waka. Does anybody know who that is? As to whatever you are doing now, please turn to page 79 so I can show you what I want done on 79. This is new. It's never gone black like this. Hey! So, step 1. Normally complete the square. I want an exact answer first. So this guy is going to be x squared minus 6x equals negative 8. Into that blank spot is going to go 9. Yes? Because that's half of 6 squared, which means I add 9 to that side. Factor. X minus 3 squared has to equal 1. Yeah? Yeah? X minus 3 has to equal plus or minus the square root of 1. X equals 3 plus or minus, what is the square root of 1? 1. 3 plus or minus 1. What's 3 plus 1? 4. What's 3 minus 1? 2. Now, gummy bear for anybody within 5 seconds who can tell me a quicker way to have done that question.
Square root. Divide by 2 and then.
Oh, hurtful.
Wait, I can't see because you got the red dot there.
Oh, please, it's on your page in front of you. Isn't that factorable? Could I have factored it? Why, if I could have factored it, did I do completing the square? How many of you wanted to complete the square there? Because that's what we're studying in math right now, yes? Even though there was an easier way to do it. All of you got locked into completing the square, yes? Was there any need to? No. But of course, you see we ended up with the same answer, yes? Now, there are 2 people in the room that know a third way to solve this. Actually, there's 5 people in the room that know a third way to solve this. You guys are going to learn that third way tomorrow. If they used their way, they would come up with 4 and 2 as well. Because there's 3 ways to solve these. Okay? Is everybody cool? Right? It was a little trick I put in here to see if anybody would factor. But everybody went straight to completing the square. That's okay because you get the right answer anyways. Everybody good? Now, did this one give me exact answers? Yes or no? Gave me exact answers. So do I need approximate answers? No. Then I want you to sketch the graph. You guys have seen these graphs. You know that if x is 4 and 2, I need an x out at 4, I need an x at 2, and what does it make? A line? A curve. Okay? That is what all 6 of these should look like. I'm going to point out a couple of things that are weird. Well, you guys should see a couple of things that are weird. What's weird in number 3? There's a negative. That's going to do something. I want to see if you can figure out what it's going to do. What's weird in 4? It's got a coefficient, but it's a fraction. How do we get rid of a fraction? Don't say it out loud, just try it. Okay? Go! Would you rather I shut up completely and show you these tomorrow? Or do I do the key and add it to the end of the video that you checked tonight? Add it to this video?
Yeah.
So you have the key. Work through step by step, but I won't be talking.
Yes.
Okay, carry on. Since I am working for you guys, if you need help, what must you do? No, you never wait. If you need help, what do you do? Check your notes, check with another person, and then come up to me. Yep. No, not for a moment. I only want one kid out at a time.
What's 10 divided by 5?
How's physics coming? I understand that. You also have tests in math. Just make sure that when you do poorly on something in math, you don't complain when you're doing physics in math class. I don't care. Like I said.
No.